What's up everyone, Nicky Hawkins here, West Ham Fan TV, back once again with another Midweek Musings. This is your show where I put you 3 questions, I have my say, and then we get your opinions, the most important opinions of course. Let's not waste any time, let's get straight into this, let's go. So this week I picked you 3 questions, topical for the week. So question 1 was, with yet another red card being rescinded, overturned sorry I said, with VAR involved, the referee really has no excuses. Should the referee incur the player's ban if they get the decision wrong? Now, we've spoken a long time about no repercussions for referees when it comes to overturning red cards. In the past, I could sort of understand it. Now, you've got sort of 5-6 people looking at the same thing over and over again. There really is no excuse to get it wrong. With that technology, seeing as the fact that they don't criticise their referees, they don't sort of make them go and face the public, they don't make them explain themselves, they're not mic'd up, maybe there should be something in place. The only thing that I would be wary of with this is that if we give referees bans if their red cards are rescinded, and I'll give you a stat, 5 of the last 8 straight red cards for West Ham have been rescinded, have been decisions that referees have got wrong. The last 2 at least, I don't know what the stats are, but the last 2 at least involved multiple uses of VAR, which really is no excuse. Maybe offer them a course. I know that sounds a bit derogatory, but I think they should incur the ban. The only thing with that, and I'll say this with the greatest of respects, is that if they have to incur bans, because them referees are so wrapped in cotton wool, they would be less inclined to overturn these red cards because they really don't want to embarrass these people. To be fair, these people are embarrassing themselves. We had multiple arguments over the weekend with referees, and it's the interpretation of the rules, and you know, we need to get more ex-players involved in refereeing. Pay the referees good money, you know. I know it's good money anyway, but pay them like really good money. They're in charge of the, you know, the biggest game in the world, and hold them to a standard. And if they don't, you know, if they don't live up to that standard, then they can't do it. There is no standard at the minute. You know, it just seems like anyone's just doing anything. It doesn't know. The rules are not as black and white as they are on paper in football. You have to take context, you have to take gravity, you have to take physics all into consideration. Like the Balbuena thing, his leg was coming down and Chilwell put his leg there. In a black and white situation, a stamp on a leg is a red card, but you have to put the context on that. And that's what I think referees struggle with, is the context, and you know, the physical limits and abilities you've got as a human being when moving at that fast pace, when being an athlete like that. You know, some things look a lot worse, especially in slow motion, than they were in real time. You look at the Balbuena one, looks quite nasty in slow motion, but if you look at it in real time, you can tell it's just a pure and utter accident. But I digress. The question was, should they get the ban? I think they should, to be honest with you, and I don't think it should be the FA deciding it. I think it should be an independent panel. Mark Sherburn Brown says, I'm so pissed off with refs and VAR. The standard we have in the Premier League is poor. Not one represented in the World Cup. It's time things change with PGMOL and raise the standards of refs. VAR in its use needs to be reviewed. All refs should be mic'd up like the rugby. JP Hammer says, yes, they should get bans. Referee have too much protection. It's easy for them to try a corrupt game under our noses. Referees should be forced to do interviews after the game, or even better, as we as fans should be offered a live mic feed of refs. In regards to the ref, absolutely, says Damaged Hearts. Marco, I'm not sure. Oh, that's the next question. Come on, Marco. Damaged Hearts. 97 Releg says these decisions should end up affecting many games, so I think they should face action, especially when they are watching replays over and over and still get it wrong. Connor Hayes, I feel the referee should have strikes like players if the referee has made 3 wrong decisions a season, then they should get a 3-game ban. Stuff like this can't keep happening and nothing happens. Arthur It's 4-0's Fluency says, yes, furthermore, any refs that saw Balbuena's challenge as a red should be relegated. Clearly not Premier League quality. I'm just going to take a couple more. Rick Cogger, who was a huge figure of controversy over the weekend, says, yes, they should be. Referees should get a free match ban, or it should be they need to be demoted for 2 seasons, says Rick Cogger, who said it was a red card initially, looked at it again and said it was never a red. Joey Randall says, in terms of ref ban, there should be some sort of punishment for persistent error. Let's be honest as well, with a well-run VAR system, this should not happen. A red should not be able to be overturned. So where there is clear error on multiple occurrences during games, take action. I'm going to take one more from Greg Hobbs, says, need to be accountable for their actions. What made Kavanagh change his mind? Rescinding means nothing. Damage already done. Best league in the world, worst officials. Something needs to be done. Okay, question number 2, which again is a hot topic of controversy. Marko Arnautovic is working on getting out of his contract with his Chinese Super League club and could be available on a free. His relationship with Moyes, who got the best out of him during his first tenure, and his style of play, and his playing style suiting our style of play. Would you? Is the question. And could you forgive? I know this is going to be up for debate, and I've got no sort of I've got no sort of bias towards anyone's opinion. Like if you think he should, and if you said no, never, obviously I won't judge that opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. That's what we're about here, is opinions. But I would. And I know I sound a little bit like, I don't know, I sound a little bit, what's the word, forgiving. And I'm not a very forgiving person. His style suited it. I loved Arnie. I hated him when he left, and the way he left, but I loved his style of play. That strong forward who has got that quick burst of pace, and I know he's getting on. I know it's been a couple of years since but he's got that quick burst of pace, that hard-working style. He would fit monumentously in our team. Now, do I say he comes in and starts every game like the old Marko Arnautovic when we signed him a couple of years ago from Stoke? No. At 32, I think his playing time would be limited. But imagine at this particular moment in time, against Chelsea, against Newcastle, if we had Marko Arnautovic up front. Imagine the results we would have got. Would he upset the apple cart? I don't think so. He liked Moyes. A lot of players, regardless of what you think of the guy, which of course is a snake, a lot of players still really respect him. He must have had some sort of speech or something planned out when he left, because a lot of the players I've heard behind the scenes still really, really like him. He was a popular figure. He was a bit of a dick on camera, and a bit of a dick the way he acted. But apparently he's a very, very popular guy. I met the guy a couple of times. Like away games and stuff. He's not as arrogant as he comes across. He's a little bit arrogant. He's a little bit full of himself, but as any footballer can be. But he always had the time for the fans. And although he stabbed us in the back, he must have had good reasons to do so. I've heard a lot of rumours, and his brother doesn't help. I'd say give him a last chance if he ditches his brother as his agent, and I don't think he would ditch his brother as his agent, to be quite honest with you. But I digress. Let's take your comments. JP Hammers, I was watching a video of West Ham goals from the 18-19 season. Even though this current team may be one of the best teams we've had, I feel like we are missing an Arnautovic figure who isn't injured. I would go for it. So would I. Get that big forward, get him. Mark Sherman, not sure. He's trying to get out of his current contract like he did with Stoke and us. This player is not to be trusted, and any new contract should be based more on bonuses rather than salary. Low basic, so we can let go of him anytime should he breach any contract rules. I agree with that as well. If he really wants to come back, then take a lower salary. I don't think he'd have a much pulling power. I don't think he'd come in as our number one. I think he'd come in as more of a bit part player, and I would accept that. Bob's Eddie WHU said, I would accept on a pay-as-you-play and get shot of him at the first time of him being a problem. Sam Loomis says, I would take him back, but make sure he can't try and get out of his contract. Having him a backup for our actual striker, hopefully we get one, wouldn't be bad at all, especially if we play in Europe. Conor Hayes, not ideal, but we'll take him once we get other business. A lot of people taking him, which is impressive. Once we get other business out of the way and he's included in the extra squad depth potential Europe next year, we know he's got the ability. Like he says, Emmerich says he's 32. If he was to come back, I wouldn't want to pay him big wages, maybe at the most 70k a week, but he can still offer something for the next 2 years at least. He wouldn't be a bad option to have at disposal, but many fans wouldn't welcome him back. Jimmy PJ20, this is where it starts. I don't want him anywhere near the club again. Dominic Vella says he's not the same man out of it, so no. Rick Cogger, I would never forgive on what he done to our club. George Bayton says, as long as he gives it his all and plays well, I think most people would have him back. Warwick Betts says, no, he left us last time to make more money. We need to stop chasing players like that. Look at Souček and Soufal as the example of the mentality we need to look for in players. Dean Blake says, yes, but without his brother. Chozo says, absolutely not. The team needs to get younger and older. Canterbury Towel says, no way. Martin Devonhammer 66 says, nope. Anthony, this is where it all starts. Look, Anthony Mark says, never. Absolute snake. 4 nails fluency. Could I fully forgive him? No. If I'm honest, I wouldn't take him back. The man recently turned 32, and I think we should turn to younger players if we want to suit that Red Bull model Moyes has mentioned. Plus, I feel his wages might be extraordinary. Mark Adamson says, no chance. Him and his brother are snakes. And last one, Brighty Tweezer Geezer says, I'd rather a liquid hot enema. What is it? Enema? Then that snake back. Thank you very much. And last one was one a bit out of, I like to put one every now and then out of left field because answering the same questions that everyone else is going to answer gets boring at times. So Anton Ferdinand recently suggested that Barcelona inquired about his availability, but premium on English players priced him out of a move. He said if he'd have moved, he would still be playing. Should clubs lower their valuation of English players to help their careers? Now, bold statement by Ferdinand. He was a good player, and I think he was 21 at the time when he was talking about. I never heard of the Barcelona move, but apparently it was Barcelona and Arsenal that were after him. I think we're sort of in that situation a little bit with Declan Rice at the minute. His premium is more because he's English. I don't think. Look, it's a tough one as a fan, but if a club like Barcelona comes along, and they really want you, they will pay the money. I think you've got every right as a football club to demand what you think your player's worth, and that's the situation we're getting into at the minute with Declan Rice. Is the fact that everyone's trying to lowball you. We'll give you Jesse Lingard. I mean, these people on the internet are talking like they're actually negotiating, and we're talking like we're actually turning the offers down. It's nothing to do with us. It's down to clubs, and the club will come to the deal that they feel. But you see a lot of these clubs trying to lowball you for players. I think we might be the worst. I remember sort of Snodgrass was a £10 million player at the time, and we tried to go in with like 2.5 million or something stupid like that. But there is a premium. But the clubs, they've got everything in that player, and the precedent has already been set. But that being said, if a club like Barcelona come for a player, I don't think it's really fair. That's a once in a lifetime. I mean, Anton Ferdinand, with all due respect to Anton, and I loved Anton Ferdinand, and I love him to pieces. Then went on to play for Sunderland, a team in Turkey, 8 million for Ferdinand, which I thought was a fair valuation at the time. He was a very good player. I think a team in Turkey, a team in Cyprus, Southend or something like that. Imagine his career if he went to Barcelona. May never have played at Barcelona, but you'd have that experience, and It's a tough one. It's a tough one because I can see that, you know, at the end of the day, the club you're with are paying your wages and they hold your rights, and they hold the keys to ask really what they want for compensation for you. But should it lower a little bit? I think it's getting a bit ridiculous. £80 million for someone like Harry Maguire is ridiculous. But I think that would take a whole sort of reset across football, not just for English players. I think transfer fees in general. So maybe they should. Let's take yours. I've only got a few of yours on here. Mark Sherman Brown says the market is determined what the other club wish to pay. If the clubs want to keep certain players, they can price them out of the market or make the buyers pay a premium. The valuation is what the market wishes to pay for the player. Clubs will get the best amount possible. Bob says, I think so. The English player tax is ridiculous. A lot of them cost more for no reason. Sam Loomis says yes and no. If they're really young and not really proven, yes. If they're like Foden or Saka or Rice, etc., then no, they're clearly going to be world class. Arthur says in some cases, yes, Grealish should never be valued at 80 plus mil. Chilwell never worth 60 mil. However, English talents are some of the most hyped in the world. In my eyes, it's the media that forces the clubs to put these prices on rather than the clubs overview of them. 96 Emery says yes, 100%. Most players' value seems to be higher simply due to the fact that they're English. Some OFC deserve the price tag, but not all players do. Thank you so much for getting involved in this week's Musings. Look, I know we done one last week, but it's all based around the Super League. It come around and went that quick that the Super League was finished by the time we got round to recording it, so it was pointless putting it out. But thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week with another Musings. We'll be building up to the Burnley game. There'll be a preview coming up. I know we've got Friday Night Pint tomorrow night. It's Thursday? Yeah, we've got Friday Night Pint coming up on Friday night. You know, everything building up to the weekend. You can check out our new t-shirts. There's a couple of new t-shirts we've got in store now. Check them out in the link in the description down below. You can become a patron if you want to support the channel, help us on to bigger, better things. We have got huge plans, believe me. I've been working on a couple of things today, and I've sent a few messages over the last couple of weeks, and we're making planning to make some premium content. But subscribe around here if you're new, and just one thing left to say, come on you Irons.